Have you ever wondered how a horseshoe is made? It's a question that isn't asked often enough, yet the answer is a fascinating blend of artistry, skill, and science. And it's not just about shaping a piece of metal. It's about understanding the needs of a horse, the demands of the terrain, and the delicate balance between protection and performance. Consider this: a horseshoe isn't just a piece of equipment. It's an extension of a horse's hoof, a tool that can mean the difference between a comfortable gallop and a painful trot. It's a testament to human ingenuity, to our ability to understand and work with nature. And it's a craft that has been honed over centuries, evolving with our understanding of equine physiology and metallurgy. So how is a horseshoe made? What goes into creating this essential piece of equestrian equipment? Today, we uncover the fascinating process of crafting a horseshoe. Before we delve into the process, let's take a quick look at the history of horseshoes. The journey of the horseshoe has been a fascinating one, with roots that trace back to the ancient world. The concept of horseshoes is believed to have originated during the Roman Empire. However, it wasn't quite the metal shoe we're familiar with today. Instead, Romans used a type of leather and metal contraption known as a hipposandal to protect their horses' hooves during long journeys on rough terrain. Fast forward to the Middle Ages, and we see the evolution of the horseshoe as we know it today. With the introduction of nailed-on shoes made from iron, horses could now travel longer distances more comfortably, and the shoes lasted longer too. This was a game-changer in the world of transportation and warfare. Then, in the 17th century, the process of making horseshoes became more refined thanks to the advent of the rolling mill and the drop forge machine. These technological advancements allowed for mass production of horseshoes, making them more accessible and affordable. Throughout the centuries, the horseshoe has continued to evolve, with different materials and designs being used to suit various purposes, from racing to workhorses. Today, we even have therapeutic horseshoes designed to support horses with specific hoof or leg conditions. Now, with a bit of history in our minds, we move on to the actual process of creating a horseshoe. Making a horseshoe begins with gathering the right materials. The heart of a horseshoe is the metal it's made from, typically steel or iron. Each has its own perks. Steel is incredibly strong and durable, perfect for a horse that's hard on its shoes. Iron, on the other hand, offers a softer, more natural feel, akin to the horse walking barefoot. Next, we need a hammer. Not just any hammer, mind you, but a blacksmith's hammer designed to shape and mold metal. An anvil is another crucial piece of the puzzle. This heavy, hard surface is where the magic happens, where the metal is beaten into the shape of the horseshoe. Finally, we need a forge. This is where the metal is heated until it's glowing hot and malleable, ready to be transformed. The forge's heat must be intense, enough to make the metal yield to the blacksmith's will. With all the necessary materials ready, we can now start shaping our horseshoe. Shaping the horseshoe is a meticulous process that demands precision. It's an art form that has been perfected over centuries. The raw iron or steel bar is the canvas, the forge is the palette, and the hammer and anvil are the artist's brushes. The process begins by placing the metal bar into the forge, which is essentially a controlled fire. The temperatures in the forge can reach well over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The purpose of this intense heat is to make the metal malleable, or able to be shaped without breaking. The metal bar is left in the forge until it becomes a bright, glowing orange. This color is an indicator that the metal has reached a state of plasticity, meaning it's ready to be worked. Once the metal is sufficiently heated, it's quickly transported to the anvil. It's here that the transformation truly begins. The blacksmith uses a hammer to start shaping the metal into the traditional U-shape of a horseshoe. Each strike of the hammer is deliberate and precise, gradually curving the metal bar. The blacksmith works swiftly as the metal begins to cool and harden the moment it leaves the forge. If the metal becomes too cool, it's returned to the forge for reheating. This process might be repeated several times until the horseshoe has the perfect shape. The shaping process is not just about achieving the correct form. The blacksmith also needs to take into account the size and shape of the horse's hoof. They might need to adjust the curve or the width of the shoe to ensure a perfect fit. After all the hammering, reheating, and adjustments, the blacksmith is left with a horseshoe. It's a testament to their skill and precision, a piece of functional art crafted from a simple bar of metal. However, the process is not yet complete. After achieving the desired shape, it's time to cool down our horseshoe. This next step is crucial for hardening the metal and setting the shape, but that's a story for another scene. Cooling is a crucial part of the process as it hardens the horseshoe. After the horseshoe has been shaped to perfection, it's glowing hot and softer than we need it to be. This is where the cooling process comes in. Taking our red-hot horseshoe, we plunge it into a bucket of water. The sudden temperature change causes the metal to contract and harden, turning our once soft, malleable horseshoe into a resilient piece of protective gear. As the horseshoe cools, you can almost hear the sizzle of the hot metal meeting the cool water, and a cloud of steam billows upwards. It's an exhilarating moment, a sure sign that we're entering the final stages of creating our horseshoe. Once the horseshoe is sufficiently cooled, it's time for the finishing touches. We start by inspecting the horseshoe for any imperfections and smoothing out any rough edges. This is done with a file with careful attention to detail to ensure the horseshoe is safe and comfortable for the horse to wear. The next step is polishing. This not only makes the horseshoe look shiny and new, but it also helps to protect the metal from rust and corrosion. A well-polished horseshoe is a thing of beauty, gleaming in the light and ready to be fitted to the horse's hoof. But before we get to the fitting, there's one more task to accomplish: creating the nail holes. These are the points where the horseshoe will be attached to the horse's hoof. Using a punch and hammer, we carefully create the nail holes, ensuring they are evenly spaced and of the correct size. This is a delicate task requiring precision and skill to ensure the horseshoe will be securely fitted and comfortable for the horse to wear. And with that, we've reached the end of the cooling and finishing process. Our horseshoe is almost ready, but it still needs a few adjustments. But don't worry, we'll cover those in the next scene. Stay tuned as we move into the exciting world of fitting the horseshoe. Fitting the horseshoe is an art in itself, requiring a skilled hand. Indeed, this is where the rubber meets the road, or should we say the metal meets the hoof. The process begins with a careful examination of the horse's hoof. The farrier, a specialist in equine hoof care, assesses the hoof shape, size, and the horse's overall health. Next, the farrier trims the hoof. This is akin to trimming our fingernails, removing excess growth to maintain a healthy shape. It's essential to get this right because an improperly trimmed hoof can cause discomfort or even injury to the horse. Now comes the moment we've been waiting for: attaching the horseshoe. The farrier positions the custom-made shoe onto the hoof, ensuring a perfect fit. The shoe is then nailed into place. But don't worry, this doesn't hurt the horse. It's similar to getting a manicure, where the nail goes into the insensitive part of our nails. Once the shoe is secured, the farrier will trim off any excess nail and smooth out the edges. This ensures that the horse won't accidentally injure itself or others. Finally, the farrier will check the horse's gait. This is to make sure the shoe is comfortable and doesn't hinder the horse's natural movement. After all, a happy horse is a fast horse. With the horseshoe successfully fitted, our process is complete. It's quite a journey from a piece of metal to a perfectly fitted horseshoe, isn't it? From a piece of raw metal to a shiny horseshoe, we've come a long way. We started with nothing more than an unassuming piece of iron, heated in the fiery embrace of a blacksmith's forge. Once glowing with heat, the iron was then masterfully shaped on the anvil, each strike meticulously planned and executed. This process crafted the basic form of our horseshoe. After the rough shaping, we entered the cooling process, a stage as important as the heating itself. A quick dip in water hardened the metal, preparing it for the final touches. With a few additional strokes of the hammer, we created the grooves and holes essential for fitting the horseshoe correctly. Lastly, the horseshoe was fitted onto our equine friend's hoof, ensuring a comfortable and precise fit. This step is a delicate dance between the blacksmith and the horse, a testament to the bond between human and animal. And that, my friends, is the intricate process of creating a horseshoe. A fusion of art, skill, and science.